What is up, my friends, and welcome into Studio Day Heffrey and Studio Day Bri. It's good to see you guys. My name is Jeff. And right here with me is former Cowboy scout, a man who won a Super Bowl ring with the Green Bay Packers and the finest drafter of all time. You can check the 1998 draft of the Philadelphia Eagles if you need proof. The great and powerful Bryan Broaddus of Crown Global Media.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Jeffrey, good morning to you. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm just mixing up my spark. You know, you gotta get your energy. You gotta get your energy drink. You gotta get boosted. It's me getting boosted. It looks like Kool-Aid, but it's not Kool-Aid. It's caffeinated. I'm trying to get cranked up. What's your deal today? How are you doing? You're looking good. Things are good. Got a lot of 105.3 The Fan going on in the background. Got a Lombardi. What a life.
Yeah, LSU national champions in baseball.
Oh, yes. Our buddy Dave. I see a lot of things on Instagram. He posts real wild crap when LSU does good things. Good for you guys.
Kennedy Landry. We had a lot of LSU alums. Rowan Cavanaugh. We got a lot of alums out there in the media world. Believe it or not, for people that can't read or write, we're really good at doing this media stuff. So, and that's a joke. That's a joke, folks from Louisiana. Don't get all bent. But
it's not a joke.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke. Everybody gets on me when I say, well, I was Louisiana educated. I'm proud to be Louisiana educated, but everybody gets on you like, oh, that's a really bad thing to say. I'm just having fun, folks. Just having fun.
That's Brian, I think pretty much anybody who went to an SEC school got a really bad education. I just don't think any of them know.
I know, but we get to celebrate. We get to spend money on T-shirts that say national champions on the end of the day. So excited about that. Jeff, I'm fighting a bad cold right now, too.
I can hear you a little bit. You got a little bit of this going on.
I'm going to keep battling through because I know no other way. But I cannot hear in my ears right now, basically. So
awesome.
Any questions you ask me today, there's a possibility that I might not hear them, but we'll work on that. But no, it's good. It's good to be here. Good to be here, and excited about the opportunity again.
Yeah, we're gonna make words. Look, sickness can't stop you from this show because this show is a money-making juggernaut, which you cannot do. Who plays Bryan Broaddus in the biopic about his life? Do you have an actor that looks like you? Because when you grow the hair out, look like Doc Brown, but from Back to the Future. But he's way older, so he couldn't play it. We'd need a new guy. If you have any idea,
who's the guy? Who's the guy that played Goose, the original Goose in Top Gun?
Let's see. I hope he's not dead too. I know the actor is, or the character is. His name is Anthony Edwards. He does look like you these days.
Yeah, the older he is, the more he does look like me. It said Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wears I remember him in he was in the hospital show. What was the hospital show that he used to do
House.
too?
ER.
No, not ER. He was on ER. Yeah. He was on ER, and then he was Top Gun. I didn't look like him as a young guy, but the older that he's gotten, the more that I feel like that if I had somebody to play me, that would be the guy.
That's nice. I think mine is probably Brad Pitt, somebody just incredibly handsome. I don't know who the new handsome people are. I only know the old handsome people. But it'd be whoever's incredibly popular and super hot. Probably be more likely to be Dane Cook. I got a little Dane Cook in my face. Anyway, let's do a trust the tape, shall we? Today's topic, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and what the coaching staff is going to do to make him win all of the MVPs and the Super Bowl, basically, Brian.
Yeah, my man is not taking any days off. And by the way, I am getting enough rest. I appreciate the concern out there. I'm reading the comments a little bit, but I'm doing the best I can. No, I'm doing a great job. I do. I
like that a guy with his profile, his feet pick. Is giving you your advice on what you need to do. You gotta get you some rest.
How about that? Yeah. Well, I take a handful of vitamins. It happens to me twice a year. I get sick this time of year, right before training camp, and I get sick right during the combine. 2 times a year, guaranteed.
That's a good time.
Single time.
It's good time.
Every single time.
You want to get yourself squared away with a clean runway for the season, and that starts with getting sick right before.
Let me talk about this quarterback, Jeffrey.
That's what I was asking you about. I don't know why you keep talking about other stuff. Jeez.
No, I was talking about, like, people are saying I'm not getting enough rest. I feel like I am. But anyway, here we go.
Nowadays, this guy's annoying me. We're just going to put him in timeout. There we go. He's out of there. All right. What's up?
I am talking to people over in the organization. Though they feel like this might be, when it comes to a quarterback, what we've had with this guy coming off an injury, this might be the best shape he's ever been coming off an injury. And
Are
he's
you
had.
saying that Dak Prescott's in the best shape of his life, Brian?
I'm saying that he is ready to have one of his best years. Yes, absolutely. I'm saying that. And I believe what they're saying. I believe what they're saying about this guy. I think he's to the point now where he does hear all the noise, he does hear all the talk, and the new coaching staff. We'll talk about that a little bit. But I was asking people over there, I'm like, hey, how's the guy working? And like everybody's like, hey, listen, this guy never misses a day. He's going to come in there and he's going to. And I asked, well, let me ask you this then. Can I talk about the fact that this might be the best shape that he's in coming off one of these majors? And then the guys over there are like, listen, I'm just telling you, this guy is ready to have a really, really good year from the physical standpoint of what he's trying to do. So that to me, and these are guys and gals I've known over there for 14, 15 years that I trust. And I'm going to buy in on this. I'm going to buy in on Dak Prescott this year. I think the coaching change, might be the best thing for him. I really do.
Yeah. That is, look, Dak's going to be number one. I spend a lot of time worried about his left tackle, and there's a lot of different factors that are going to determine how many games they win and lose. But if Dak is completely healthy and anything like the athlete he's been once upon a time, that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is shoulder don't hurt, the hamstring's okay, your legs are okay, you're mobile. Yeah. All of those things are the most important. Then it's up to Tyler Guyton if he wants to derail our season or not, But yeah, it starts with the quarterback, and if you tell me that he's going to be in good shape, I think that's a relief to me. It makes me feel good because it is one of the things that I do worry about.
You don't. I mean, I'm assessing my own. I'm asking my own questions over there. The big thing coming out is he's older. He's not going to be as mobile. There's a lot of things pointing that this might not be great. I'm taking the opposite approach on this one. Talking to people. Talking to people.
It's good. It's good. I need this in my life, honestly. That's what I need in my life right now.
I would not. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to worry about the quarterback here.
I love that.
I think the quarterback is not going to be the reason why you fail this year, if you do in fact fail.
So that takes us to the thing that you want to talk about today, which is the Cowboys coaching staff, which I'm looking for insight on, because I think with Brian Schottenheimer, I am familiar with his work, but none of his work has really blown anybody's doors off. And now that you're the man in charge, like, is there something different? And we do have Alec in the chat. Like, yes, there have been good Seattle offenses. Russell Wilson did play his best football under Brian Schottenheimer, but I just don't think that there's anything that I've seen where it's like Sean McVay gives me an advantage on Sunday. Ben Johnson gives me an advantage on Sunday. Kyle Shanahan gives me an advantage on Sunday. Is there something about Brian Schottenheimer that you could say that about the Cowboys when people are talking about?
That's the unknown. That's the unknown, because he's never been the guy who's the head coach, who's been also the play caller. You named every play caller that's really, really, with exception of Ben Johnson. That's what I'm saying. To me, I am saying if this thing fails, it's likely because they didn't do exactly what you just said. There wasn't I don't think there was any interest in pushing the offense with Mike McCarthy. None. Don't think there was any just with Mike Solari pushing the offense. None. I don't think there was any interest there. I don't think there was anything to try and make this thing any different. I think you had coaches that are older, set in their ways, and don't want to learn new offense. I think the quarterback's willing to do anything you ask him to do. I do. And I think he's preparing himself to play that way. Now, the question is, can a rookie wide receiver coach, can a rookie line coach, and I'm not saying the OC is a rookie because he's coached the NFL, but who's the primary line coach over there? We get to Oxnard, who is the one doing all the work? That's what I'm interested in. I don't think it's going to be the quarterback that lets you down if there's a problem. And I think Brian Schottenheimer realizes that. And Brian Schottenheimer got this job because he convinced Jerry and Stephen Jones that he can move things along. You can't tell me that Jerry and Stephen don't watch those games, the Rams games, the 49ers games, the Bears games, and not see offensive creativity. I say that, and you're thinking, well, why would you hire Schottenheimer then? Why wouldn't you go hire Ben Johnson or somebody like that? Maybe Ben Johnson, maybe that wasn't the fit. Maybe Ben Johnson wanted too much. Maybe he wanted too much control, So I have a feeling that this quarterback is going to be ready to do whatever you ask him to do and play at the highest level he can. He will make himself ready. Can the coaches match the preparation that this guy's putting into it right now to be ready to go? If they can, then they'll be fine. If they don't, then in 2-3 years, we'll be talking potentially about another coach here.
Got some more advice for you, Brian. You need some sun and a cup of coffee.
I've got matter of fact, I got 6 cancer spots cut off me because of the sun.
Okay. See, guys. Now, you feel bad now? Now you feel bad?
Nope.
Tell Brian to go out in the sun? How about that?
I don't.
How about a little cancer for you?
Never had a cup of coffee, and don't go out in the sun too much because I got spots on me that are cancerous that they cut off.
I've never had a cup of coffee because I think the coffee is absolutely disgusting.
I've never had a cup in my life, and I'm 61 years old. Yeah.
And I don't like hot liquid. I need to tell you that too. That's why I do ice water with my little energy drinks, because I believe that a nice cold fruity beverage is delicious, whereas a warm liquid is gross. And so is mayo and mustard, if anybody's keeping track of it.
Soup's good. Soup's good.
Oh, no. Soup is an exception.
Yeah, now you're making up rules. Now you're making up rules.
But you eat soup. You don't drink.
You could drink soup.
You can.
Drink soup. You can drink soup. You can drink tomato soup. Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys' offensive coaching staff, shoddy. All right. I'm interested. Clayton Adams, I'm actually a big believer in. I do think it's more of a, hey, you're the offensive coordinator, but really you're the offensive coordinator because that means we can give you more money and we think you're a really good offensive line
coach.
Sure,
if he's the line coach, and if he's the line coach, by all means, let's go.
What I do want to know is, what is Ken Dorsey doing? Because Ken Dorsey is your passing game coordinator, and Ken Dorsey's fresh off of getting fired so that the Bills offense would stop being bad and then being fired by the Cleveland Browns last year. And I am an appreciator of, but we think this guy has something to offer. We're just going to make up a title, smack him in here so that we have more opinions and we can listen to other people. But the Ken Dorsey one, I do look at sideways.
How much did you hate Josh Allen when he came out of Wyoming?
Okay. Yeah. Here he goes. Here he goes.
I'm asking.
Pushing some sort of agenda right now. I hated Josh Allen coming out of college. I hated him.
How bad you hate him? What were your problems with Josh Allen?
He couldn't throw a football straight was my biggest problem. Yeah, that was my biggest problem. He couldn't throw.
Wonder who his coach was. That quarterback coach.
Well, his quarterback coach was Ken Dorsey when he came in the league. Yeah. That was also his offensive coordinator in 2023 when they went on a 5-5 start, lost 4 of 6, and Josh Allen's offense sucked. And they were like, "What if we fire this Ken Dorsey?" And then Josh Allen's like,
"Just saying, the guy that you absolutely hated as a quarterback." You had to eat crow because he can now throw the football.
Yes. Josh Allen, I got to tell you this too. Josh Allen's a weirdo because that is not normal.
You guys hated that guy. You guys hated him. It's not
normal to be an.
That's one of the ones you need to wear. That one. You need to wear that one. Number 1.
I do wear. I'll get a T-shirt that says I messed up.
I hated Josh Allen. No, what, he messed up. I hated Josh Allen.
And I'll get another T-shirt that says Sky Moore just needs a better quarterback.
That's on the back.
My favorite part of these shows is when Brian calls Jeff out and does that head nod.
Yeah.
There's never anything to call me out for. I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't even know.
I think Ken Dorsey's going to be fine. I think to me, give me the opportunity. All I'm asking for is I'm asking for thievery. I'm asking for creativity.
Love it.
I'm asking for coaching. I'm asking for finding ways to put these players in the best spots, which is always a cliche thing to say. But I'm interested. I don't think the quarterback's going to be the problem this year. I really don't. If there is success, the quarterback and the coaching staff are going to be the reason why. If there's failure, it's they didn't do enough with this quarterback. This quarterback is committed to trying to be the best he can be and come back from the injury that he had, which was a pretty significant one.
I heard it here first. Bryan Broaddus, gigantic Dak homer, says no matter what happens, it's not Dak's fault. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing that he will be ready to do whatever they ask him to do, good or bad.
Yeah, and I think so with Dak.
I think we put too much blame on him.
You're preaching to the choir here. There's a lot of people. People that hated Romo. There's a lot of people that hate all the quarterbacks. So what are you going to do? It's a hating ass world right now. That's what we live in. Yeah. We live in a world full of hating. Everybody's a hater, and it's dumb. The one thing that I think is a little concerning is just his performance last year when he was healthy. But I also think that if you're not a psychopath, you would probably go ahead and hold that 6 games or whatever up against.
They were bad. They were bad. And you know what? They were bad because I really do believe the quarterback sure had a little hand in that. I think there's a reason why this head coach got fired, because the last couple of years, ever since they took Kellen Moore out of this thing, since they moved on, maybe 2 years ago, there were some things offensively that they did that were okay. But this guy never ever wanted to make it better for this guy. He never did. This coach never did. Even when Dak was having that MVP type of a run, why not build on that? He never built on that. He never built on that. And so I am fully in the camp, and people say, "Oh, you just blame McCarthy for everything." Yeah, I do. I blame him.
Well, you tell him, Alec. Get him, Alec.
I blame. Do you not blame McCarthy for the offense not being as good as it is?
Man, I think Mike McCarthy's offenses were pretty damn good for the most part. Last year was wonky, but on the whole, they were pretty good. So I don't know. I struggle with that. I think a lot of coaches, I think Kellen Moore caught more crap than he should have too.
Yeah.
Like how many top 3, top 5 offenses do you have to have? And then everybody's like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy's not creative. This guy's not blah, 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 blah. And then when they run their creative plays and somebody screws it up, it's like, oh, what are you calling that crap for? I think it's hard to be a coach because if your team is not awesome, people are going to say you're a dumbass. So like, I don't think McCarthy's an idiot.
They pay you not to be a dumbass.
Well, no, but
they hire you and
people a dumbass.
No, they hire you and pay you not to be a dumbass. That's why they hire me and pay me not to be a dumbass in scouting.
No, I agree with you. I think McCarthy is a better coach than he got credit for from the people who hate him. And I don't think there were a lot of people that said he was amazing. So he's not worse than people thought. Like, I think McCarthy was fine, which is kind of honestly the standard for Cowboy coaching. I think because of the way that they operate, that's who you're going to end up with pretty much all the time. Everybody is desperate.
You named 4 coaches earlier that you would absolutely like to have over Mike McCarthy, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I hope that applies to Schotty too. But I would remind the world that if Mike McCarthy was willing to be lowballed, Brian Schottenheimer's not your head coach. McCarthy would have the job. He would still be here. But where was I going? I ADD'd myself again. We don't call it that anymore. We have to put the
something about the quarterback.
Well, something about the quarterback. Somebody said they kind of like raspy Bryan Broaddus. Not gonna lie. Oh, I just don't think like the Cowboys will never have. You're gonna have to get lucky. They've gotten lucky at quarterback twice in a row, and I think you're going to have to just kind of have it work out for you at head coach too, because the Cowboys will never be in the market for the guy that the rest of the league acknowledges is awesome. Like Ben Johnson, never a chance here. You were going to get a guy who was going to make half as much, didn't require as many years or control, because you had to be somebody that the Joneses were willing to work with, not the guy who we think is the best head coach. So they did what they always do. They went with a guy that they know, that they're comfortable with, that they knew, I can tell you what to do and you'll shut up and do it. And we just have to hope that Schotty's badass enough that the guy they know, like, are comfortable with, will accept a low ball offer, et cetera, also happens to be awesome. That's what you're going to have to hope for, because you're never going to be in the market for the guy that the whole league knows is the best, because the Joneses love to Jones. And that bothers me. I don't like that. I don't like that you half-ass free agency. I don't like that you half-ass coaching searches. I don't like any of these things. Fortunately, Shoddy Energy seems freaking awesome, and I hope he's a badass. But I'm always a little bit skeptical, because Jones is finna Jones. And that's what they did. But with Dak, if you tell me he is fully healthy, that's my worry. My worry about Dak is never that he's not going to be good at quarterback. Like, Dak throughout his career has become a completely different person than he was when he came into the league. When he came into the league, there was some Jalen Hurts to it, where it's like, you better run for short touchdowns and you better do all this stuff. And now the dude is a freaking stand in the pocket, pick you apart SOB. And like, he has evolved as that sort of player. My one worry is leg, shoulder, hamstring. Like, man, what are we doing? Is there going to be another body part are we on our way to breaking down? But if you tell me that he is healthy and that he is in good shape, then I would say it's way more likely that his little stretch of football last year, where also the Joneses, once again, they forfeited a season by not trying to add good football players. Like, you had not a good enough team around him, and he had his struggles. I would say, yeah, I think the 9-year sample size is probably more important than those 6 or 7 games in terms of who is Dak. And Dak's going to go out there and start dealing. As long as the surroundings aren't terrible, Dak will be out there dealing, and we'll be in good shape. Super chats go. Well, I'm looking for my super chats. Vance is in the super chat. As a former lead drafter, Brian, how would you prefer your coaching staff? This is our system, and we need these players, or pick the best ones, and we'll coach them up.
Always work with your coaches. Always ask your coaches what they need.
You're just trying not to get fired?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I had a situation in Philadelphia where the coaches didn't talk to me for a year. I worked at Philadelphia where the defensive coaches did not talk to me for a year.
Yeah, but that worked out great. You drafted your ass off without them.
No, I had to go in there and talk to the defensive coordinator. Emmett Thomas was the defensive coordinator. And I went in there and I said, listen, David trusted me and Mike Lombardi to do this draft. I go, I need to know what type of players you want. I need your help here. And I said, there's no other way I could do this. I can't pick players for you if I don't know what you gotta tell me. And we hashed it out. They thought I was there to get their guy fired, and their friend got fired, and I got put in the job. And so I had to have them, but you're always going there and ask the coaches their opinion. But you know which coaches can evaluate, you know which ones can't. But if you tell me what kind of players you're looking for, I could generally find you those guys.
How about when a coach tries to tell you that he likes a player and you tell him, no, I know what you like, and you don't like that player. And he's like, no, but I like that player. And then he picks that player anyway. And then it turns out that you were right, and that player's not what he liked.
Yeah.
That was a Parcells thing, right? There's an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't like him. You don't.
Oh yeah. No, it was, who was it? It was, we were sitting to dread the second round. You took the kid from USC, the offensive tackle, and Bill was like, Tom Siskowski and Jeff Ireland both like, Bill, this kid is everything you hate in an offensive lineman. And he's like, he's like, no, we're going to draft the kid. And they drafted, he was a terrible player. Second round.
That's the best.
Scouts told him, this is everything that you hate in a player. And he still drafted him. Yeah.
That's the best. Didn't Dallas get lucky with Will McClay as well? I would imagine that some of that was luck too. I mean, I remember when he was hanging out with the coach in the Dallas Desperados.
Will followed me in 2 spots. He
Yeah.
followed me in Jacksonville, and he followed me in Dallas in pro personnel.
Well, he's pretty damn good at what he does.
He is really good.
MD Andrews is in the super chat. Brian, my fiance and I are about to drive through Baton Rouge Wednesday on the way to NOLA. One singular food suggestion. What would it be in Baton Rouge?
What kind of food do you like?
You don't just have a blanket. You don't have a blanket bed.
We got
they want Cajun. We got to assume they want Cajun.
I love Mike Anderson's seafood. They got really good Italian. Rufino's. They got some good places to eat. But my favorite place is Mike Anderson's seafood. It's one of my favorite places.
We like that. Alvin's in the super chat. We got an avalanche going now. Coach Mike's teams were being blown out in every big game. They looked not prepared. And that's not a fun feeling when you are a fan watching a game and being like, how come my team's not showing up? This is dumb. Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. Yeah. And I think it's going to be super important how this team starts, and you're going to have a real challenge on how you start because of who you're going to play in week one. But I think when you're going to have the vibes, and the shoddy vibe right now seems to be like we're all friends. I love you and you love me, and look at all of our cool energy. Look how bestie we are. You lose 30-7 in week one, and we'll see. Yeah, see what kind of energy you're rocking.
I agree.
I think it's really, really important that.
But like I said,
unprepared nonsense don't show up in week one.
Yeah, I am not. I can say I've been critical of this quarterback, and people hate me for it. But I do not think the quarterback, from things that I'm hearing about him and how he's prepping to get ready for this one, I'm thinking that he's not going to be the problem. We'll see. But I will be critical of him if he is the problem. But my early indication is he's doing everything he can to do whatever the coaches ask him to do.
Will the first play offensively of the Cowboys season be a PTB2, snap the ball, pat that bitch 2 times, and throw it as far as you can to George Pickens?
See if Mitchell can cover the vertical route.
I think I do kind of believe in the message.
Oh, yeah.
And I think sending a message on the first snap of the season, assuming that they show you what I think most teams are going to show you, which is CeeDee Lamb's going to get more attention than George Pickens, that you show, I want the whole league to know, if you do, this is what I'm doing all year. And I like messages. I like to send that on play one. You show me man coverage, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. And that is throw a bomb.
I think we'll learn a lot about this team in training camp, of how they practice and how he plays them in the preseason. If he does the same thing in preseason that Mike McCarthy did with not getting guys ready and stuff like that, and I can't replace that guy if you use him in preseason too much, but if you go out and you play your guys 2-3 series in a game just to kind of get them ready to see how things go, then I'll feel a lot better about this football team. I'll feel a lot better about this coaching staff.
Oscar says it's going to be a play action pass to the tight end, Jeff. I will tell you, that is some stuff that Dak loves to do. Boy, there's nothing that makes – you know what we need? We need Brevin Spanford to be able to catch, because my quarterback, who I love, nothing makes my man happier than throwing a contested seam ball that's an absolute dime, but you might die. And so I need my tight end to have some body armor. I need 270 because my quarterback is absolutely throwing that thing between linebacker and safety. So I need you to not be we can't be small up there. You gotta be big.
Yep.
That's my quarterback. All right, Brian, have a great day. Is there anything you need to promote? Is there anything that people need to know? Is there anything you want to get out there?
Nope, man, all good. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, just make sure you're Googling the words Bryan Broaddus every day to see all the places he's showing up. Make sure that you Google Crown Global Media every day just to see.
Yeah, my website. Yeah, the website should be up this week too, so you can learn all about us on there.
Yeah. And make sure here in like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, you're tuned into the DLLS Cowboys podcast, or else, which is, of course, not a threat. And you might want to listen to G-Bag Nation today as well on 105.3. That's where you can find Brian. All right, everybody, have a great day. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you.